Okay. Everybody good? Good evening. I'd like to call our meeting to order and welcome everyone to tonight's July 21st, 2025 City Council meeting. We would ask that you please silence all electronic devices. Also, may our minutes reflect that Mayor Pro Tem Harold Owen is absent and excused from tonight's meeting. At this time, we'll call on Councilmember Dewana Bigelow for tonight's invocation.
Pray with me. Father in heaven, thank you for allowing us to gather in your presence this evening. Lord, I thank you for your love and your mercy that covered our city, our residents, and staff during the recent storms. Thank you for your grace and your protection that continues to follow each of us. As we begin tonight's meeting, I ask for your guidance. Guide our thoughts, Lord, and our decisions. Help us make decisions that will be beneficial for everyone in our city. Lord, help us be a better reflection of you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Next on our agenda is recognitions. It's always a special time when we can recognize our Eagle Scout Awards. At this time, I'd like to recognize Isaac Young, Scouting America's District Executive for Alamance County, and I would like to ask council to come forward as we recognize our scouts and their achievements. Welcome, Isaac.
Awesome. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the introduction. I am the representative of the council in Greensboro, but I'm also a scout myself. And I just wanted to say before we get started here and while they're shuffling that it's really important that these civic institutions are engaged with scouting and recognizing this. And it's so awesome that you guys are here doing this. And I thank you for recognizing the work that these scouts have done. I thank the public for being here, and I thank the families for coming out and supporting. This is incredible. Okay, we're going to get started with our first Eagle for tonight. Royce C. Allegretto is a member of Troop 4009, Alamance District of Scouting America, and for her community service project, she contributed to improving the Southern Alamance Family Empowerment, or SAFE. Now I'd like to call Chase Andrew Armstrong. He's not here, okay. John Dooley. John is a member of Troop 4017, Alamance District of Scouting America, and for his community service project, he helped build the outdoor classroom at Turrentine Middle School. I'd like to call Isaac Douglas Horner. He's a member of Troop 4065, Alamance District of Scouting America, and for his community service project, he made improvements to the Alcovets shelter. Now I'd like to call Samuel Schiller. He's a member of Troop 4017, Alamance District of Scouting America, and for his community service project, he made improvements to the Alamance County YMCA. I'd like to call Will Masahiro Solari. He's a member of Troop 4017, Alamance District of Scouting America, and for his community service project, he helped build the picnic area for the Blessed Sacrament Middle School. Sam Curtis Turner III. He's a member of Troop 4017, Alamance District of Scouting America, and for his community service project, he made improvements at the Allied Church of Alamance County.
Can I get everybody to get a picture up here with the council?
One second. One more thing before. One more thing before. Isaac's going to introduce someone.
So in total tonight, we have, well, over the last year, we had a total of 27 new Eagle Scouts for the district. Some were unable to attend tonight. And right now, I'd like to welcome Royce Allegretto to come forward. She's prepared to say a few things to us.
After 8 years of scouting, it is such an honor to earn my Eagle Scout Award. My dad always says it takes one caring adult to make a difference in a child's life. And we are also truly blessed because we live in a community like Burlington, where there are so many more than just one adult who cares for kids like us. I want to say thank you. The greatest lesson I learned in scouting came the evening of my Eagle Board of Review. I remember being so nervous, and I didn't really know why. Over my time, I've earned 54 merit badges. I've hiked over 150 miles, performed over 200 hours of service, and have camped over 100 nights. I looked at my scout leader, and he said, "You got this," and I did. When I met the review board, they were seated in a semicircle with an empty chair in the dead center. I sat down, wiped the sweat from my face, and answered question after question. And then the conversation just ended as quickly as it began. And the board asked me to step outside as they voted on my eligibility. A few minutes later, they came and immediately told me I had passed my board review. They signed off on me being an Eagle Scout. I walked in not Eagle, and I walked out an Eagle Scout. I didn't feel any different, though. You see, I thought there were going to be joyous trumpets blaring, a marching band bursting into the room, confetti falling from the ceiling, or at least a personal change in the fabric of who I am. And there was none of that. The greatest lesson I learned became clear that evening. There were no trumpets, no bands, and no confetti. Because it wasn't about achieving the rank or receiving accolades. Instead, I realized at that very moment that true joy comes not from the destination, but from the journey itself. All of the people I met, the challenge in every mile hiked, sitting around the campfire with old and new friends, and hey, even this, standing here with you. Life is full of twists and turns, highs, lows, and unexpected detours. But by focusing on the journey and finding gratitude in our experiences, both big and small, we can each shape our lives in wonderful ways. Thank you for this recognition, and I know that we all look forward to doing great things in Burlington for many years to come.
Next year, we're going to have to
Right, this tall guy's gonna be back.
Anybody else?
Can we get you guys in 2 rows here? Can you guys sort of come down here and scoot down just a little bit and lower down?
You guys want to see?
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great. Thank you. Hey, can I pitch along?
Oh, I'm so sorry. You're
Thank you all for having me in today.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here. If there's anyone else coming in, oh, there she is. Okay. You were next on the agenda, so I couldn't go anywhere. Next on our agenda this evening is Code of Ethics disclosing any conflicts of interest. At this time, we'll recognize City Clerk Beverly Smith.
Members of council, it is my responsibility to remind you of your duty to avoid conflicts of interest. I ask if there are any potential conflicts concerning tonight's agenda items.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is approval of minutes, June 2nd, 2025 work session and June 3rd, 2025 city council meeting. At this time, we'll entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes.
motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve and a second. All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Our next item is a request for additions to the consent agenda, which would be item H, to defer public hearings for voluntary non-contiguous annexation requests, and item I, a resolution to set a date of public hearing on 0 Hopedale Road, parcel ID 141105. At this time, we'll entertain a motion to approve the additions requested.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Our next item is the adoption of the agenda. We'll entertain a motion at this time.
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second? I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Any opposed? Moving on, next is the consent agenda. These items are typically non-controversial. If anyone has any questions about the following items, please let us know. Item A, to approve the reclassification of a principal engineer pay grade 220 to an assistant city engineering director pay grade 223 effective July 19th, 2025. Item B, to approve the reclassification of the assistant finance director from pay grade 220 to pay grade 221 to reflect increased scope, complexity, and supervisory responsibilities effective July 1st, 2025. Item C, to approve the reclassification of the IT systems manager position from pay grade 220 to pay grade 221 to reflect increased scope, complexity, and supervisory responsibilities effective July 1st, 2025. Item D, to approve Budget Amendment 2026-01 for Recreation and Parks to receive grant funds from the North Carolina Amateur Sports to purchase tennis and pickleball equipment to support instructional programming. Item E, to approve the capital lease finance agreement with First National Bank and associated budget amendment 2026-02, adopting the banking resolution and to authorize the mayor, city manager, chief financial officer, and the city clerk to sign and execute the bank's loan documents. Item F, to approve budget amendment 2026-03 for Burlington Animal Services to allocate a donation from the Pet Adoption and Welfare Society, or PAWS, to support operations at Animal Services. Item G, to approve a contract amendment with Michael Graves and budget amendment 2026-04 for the architectural and engineering work associated with the redesign of the bond-funded Maynard Aquatic Center enclosure. Item H, to defer the City Council's public hearings and consideration of the applicant's petition for following properties to a future time pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 160D 202, Burlington City Code, Section 40-40, and the terms of the annexation agreement executed by the applicant and the city and filed in the Alamance County Register of Deeds. Those addresses are spelled out in your agenda. Item I, to adopt a resolution to set a public hearing date for August 19th, 2025, City Council meeting to consider a voluntary non-contiguous annexation request of 0 Hopedale Road, parcel ID 141105. At this time, we will entertain a motion on the consent agenda as read.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Moving into new business, item 1 under new business is to adopt a resolution of support for the Rockwood Avenue Extension Project. So at this time, we'll recognize our Director of Transportation, Mike Nunn. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. In your packet, you have a draft resolution. What we're asking, or the staff has developed a resolution to continue support. As you know, this project has been many, many years. I wouldn't pick many years, but it's been a long time. We want to make sure that we're positioned, continue to be positioned properly should the city manager, city council, NCDOT, or economic development opportunities present themselves. So we're just asking tonight you consider the resolution that's before you. I did also include a very draft preliminary, not to be used for construction map, if you will. I can show that real quickly.
Sure.
It was the last item that I actually had in my files from a couple of years ago. We hopefully you're aware with this. This is Front Street. The project actually begins down at Arbor Drive, but the extension, Rockwood Extension, extends the load up to Webb Avenue at the intersection of Glen Raven and Webb Avenue. The intent still is intent to purchase right away for 4 lanes, but to likely probably only build 2 lanes in the first phase. So this will be the extension from Webb down to roughly Arbor Drive and get you back to Rockwood O'Neill in US 70 Church Street. The resolution just references that you continue to support NCDOT's project selection and economic development programs that may present themselves, and if they have any contact with the city manager, that he may provide that to them.
Absolutely. I know this has been an item that's been, really there was a point in time we thought this thing was going to move through about 10 years ago anyway.
Yeah.
So that goes back to when Ronnie was the mayor, and at the time we thought it would be funded and approved at that point in time. So it's been something that we've supported for over a decade. And putting this in a resolution format is probably going to be in the best interest of getting the state and NCDOT to perhaps take a look at that.
At least recognize it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I guess that would be submitted. Would that be submitted to the MPO, TAC? as well?
We can submit that through the MPO as well, and submit that, as far as our local NCDOT division members as well. And again, as I mentioned, use it for other policies or programs that may come along to show your support for the project.
All right, perfect. Any other questions from Mike on that item? If not, we'll entertain a motion on the resolution of support.
So moved.
We have a motion for approval and a second. All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, Mike. Appreciate your attention to that. Next under new business is item 2. City Council will consider a temporary street closure of Front Street from Spring Street to Lexington Avenue from 2 p.m. to 12 a.m. to allow the Burlington Food Hall to host a special event concert in downtown on Friday, October 3rd, 2025, contingent upon meeting approval of all requirements of the Burlington Special Event application process. At this time, we'll recognize our Supervisor of Special Events, Sean Echeverria. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. Thank you all for having me here tonight. As you mentioned, I've been working with the Burlington Food Hall and the folks over at Core Properties, working them through the special event application process. And that special event application is for a concert that they would like to hold on Front Street between Spring Street and Lexington Avenue. The event itself is scheduled to take place from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. However, the additional time on the front half and back half of that evening is for setup and tear down of staging equipment, vendors, potential fencing, and other setup items. I do want to mention that we'll probably be approaching back with council in a future meeting to possibly look at sidewalk closures. It was something that we have been chatting with recently since this has come through on the agenda, and we're looking at the proper channels now to receive that approval. That being said, if you have any specific questions about the event, Aaron Bandry from Core Properties is here with me tonight to answer any of those questions.
Okay. Any questions from council? None. So I think you did a great job making it clear what we needed. Just one question real quick. Yeah. Is this the first time they've had this event?
It is. Yep. First time event, at least as far as I know.
Yeah, this is the first time.
Good. Okay. Well, new events we like to see reoccurring events, but new ones are even better. So thank you. If there's no other questions for Sean at this time, we'll entertain a motion on the request.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve and a second. All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Next this evening is our public comments. At this time, I'll call on public comments for topics that are not on the agenda. Each speaker is asked to limit comments to 5 minutes, and Beverly or Haley, one will have the timer. So if you could please be respectful of the time. The first individual this evening is Charles Gupton concerning LGI Homes and Stormwater. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Charles Gupton. I live at 2224 Mathis Trail in the Glencoe community. There are a number of my neighbors who have joined us here tonight as well, some of whom may be addressing you as well. I'd like to take a moment or so of my time just to thank you for doing what at times seems like a thankless job of managing the city's business and its budget. When you do something people like, you probably get very little credit for doing what you do. And if you do something they don't like, you might be feeling reviled at times. So thank you all for showing up and doing your work. I also want, for the record, to say that I got some very thoughtful calls from Bob Patterson, David Bowman, and John Hammond from the Water and Erosion Control Office, trying to help and find solutions. It's great to know that there are some great people working on the behalf of the city and the citizens. So thank you to everyone. Tonight, though, I come before you with a challenging dilemma to present. Mathis Trail and Freeland Trail, the roads that I and my neighbors live on, are not city or state maintained. But LGI Homes, a real estate development company, has created a huge, that went off easily, a huge unsustainable issue or problem for all of us by clear-cutting all of the trees and ground cover from the property they're developing for the Riverwalk subdivision on Old West Glencoe Road. Because of that grading work, there is nothing to slow down and filter the runoff. They've also built a retaining wall along the east edge of the property in such a way that it appears to have been intentionally funneling the water from all of the runoff on that side of the property under the home and into the driveway of my neighbors John and Debbie Hurdle. John will be speaking in a couple of moments as well. The result is not only that their home is susceptible to being washed off its supports and threatening their lives and well-being, without exaggeration, the water is also washing out our private road to the degree that fire trucks, EMT, delivery services, and contractors either will not or cannot risk their vehicles and safety to serve us. It happens to be that we have a dying tree leaning over our house, and the tree service we have contracted with is unwilling to come up our road until there are repairs made. The videos and photos that I sent to Bob Patterson, when they can be shown, show some of the dirt-filled runoff that comes down our road and comes in from various parts of the property that have not been dealt with into the Haw River, which of course, as you know, impacts thousands of people downriver. I understand from speaking with the Sun Rock supervisor, the company that's doing the grading and the construction work, that the site plan that LGI Homes worked from was approved by the city of Burlington, and he quickly placed blame for the problem on the city. He also told me that LGI is not required to fix the issue because the site plan allowed it and that they would do nothing to fix it if the city did not require or force them to do so. Thus, I'm here talking with you. Rather than spending a lot of time finger pointing and dwelling on fault in the meeting, what I hope to seek is some solutions through your help that allows all of us to live our lives without anxiety every time we get rain. I understand that the cost of modifying their site construction can be significant, but the loss of life and home as well as our daily well-being is and will even be more significant over the long term. Since the clear cutting of the top of the hill above the Hurdle's home, John has spent hundreds of dollars, possibly even over $1,000 on gravel to repair his drive alone. And his brother Brian and our fellow neighbor, Roger Allen, have invested their time as well as wear and tear on their tractors and the fuel cost to help John get his gravel pulled up his driveway after the overflow from the site washed it away. And then they also regraded the road numerous times so that we could all get in and out. Even though the recent rains have been excessive and did far more damage, the destruction of our roadway and John's driveway in particular are a recurring issue after every rainfall now. That's never been the case in the past before LGI Homes cleared the area. Scraping the road once or twice a year was sufficient to maintain things. Now it is sometimes every week or two when we have any measurable amount of rain that comes down, even very light rain. I'm greatly concerned that the folks at LGI, Sunrock, and possibly some officials within the local government may simply view John and Debbie as, in John's own words, two old people living in an old trailer that can't afford to fight, and therefore they don't matter. Now, just 30 seconds more. Sure. The issues that are having the greatest impact on the Hurdles and by extension to the rest of us can be resolved by LGI. They need to continue the wall down. There's some photos, if we can see them tonight, that show down and block and fill that area so that the runoff goes to the holding ponds that are there. And at this point, that whole part of the property comes straight like a funnel. Nothing is blocking it. So rather than casting about blame, I'm just simply asking that you can work with us in some way to, whatever incentives necessary, to ask LGI Homes to be responsible and, even more importantly, compel them to repair the environmental damage that they've caused the Hurdles as well as to our road. We're some old people living up there, so it's our lifeline not only to the grocery store, but also doctor's appointments.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Mayor, Mr. Mayor, can we see the
You
pictures?
can. Are these the pictures that were sent to us?
These are the videos to the
Yeah.
board?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yep, same ones that we've already received them.
Yeah, we forwarded them to council once we
Yep.
got them.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you. Next is John Hurdle, 150 Freeland Trail. Good evening.
I'm John Hurdle. My wife Debbie and I live in a single wide mobile home on Freeland Trail. I've lived there for the last 40 years. Never ever really had a problem. We had one washout of the driveway when we had a hurricane come through. That's been many years ago. What I'm most concerned with is this runoff from their construction site they've raised the level of the dirt behind me, and I'm at the same spot. They made me basically the funnel. I'm the drain for that corner. It comes down my driveway. It comes down my yard. It goes under my house. It comes out the other side. I'm worried about it polluting my well. I live on well water. If they pollute my well with this is some of the water that I collected out of the ditch. It's coming out all the way down the side, up above me, and going in another drain creek, kind of, across the whole front of my yard, going around the corner and out and down and right to the river. They have been working on the retention ponds for the last week. They worked the weekend on the retention ponds because the retention ponds washed out. They've done nothing to the corner. They've done nothing about the water that's going down the creek and into the Hall River. They're polluting it with that. One of my neighbors has a video of this white water coming out from under the front of my house and going down my yard. Not only that, I'm worried about it washing the piers out from under my house. If it does that, my house collapses. What do I do then? I don't have flood insurance. I'd have to find another place to live at 75 years old. It just is beyond comprehension that LGI has totally ignored this thing. They said, one representative said, well, it's water coming from all the yards and everything up there. That is coming from their construction site. It's white clay, white sandy clay up there. And the minute it starts coming down there, you can see it. You can tell exactly where it's going. They just, I don't want to lose my house. I've been there 40 years. We used to have woods on 3 sides. We've only got woods on 2 sides now. I can live with that. But what is needed, I think, of course, what do I know? I'm just an old man. But what I think is the retention wall that they have up above me, if they would extend that to the corner and up the hill and fill that with dirt like they did the retaining wall to give them a place to build a house. That's what that retaining wall is for. and stop making me the drain. That's all I ask, is something reasonable. The road, I don't know. I've fixed my driveway many times, but I've never seen it like it is. If one of us should have a heart attack, God forbid, or a fire, Fawcett Township is not going to be able to get there with that big tanker there, because it's washed the sides of the road down next, the creek down next to the road. It's washed the sides of it out, and I honestly don't think it would hold the truck. All I want is just some consideration and see what can be done about this to stop this from happening. I thank you.
Thank you.
And so don't forget your water.
He doesn't want it. He doesn't want it.
If you get thirsty.
Next, I believe, is it Brian Hurdle?
Yes.
Yep. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Brian Hurdle. I'm John's brother. I live at 2075 NC Highway 62, but I was raised in the area all my life. Went to Elon, became a fire captain, and stayed there for years and came back. So how am I in this? Obviously, it's my brother. And I grew up on the property when it was the Hall place. And Mr. Roosevelt Cobb, he took me on as a son, and we farmed that whole place up there. So I know that place like the back of my hand. I learned to swim, fish, hunt, and raise tobacco. So I plowed all those fields up there when it was farm fields. Just like they said, Sunrock was hired by LGI a few years ago to start a project. They've cleared 40 to 50 acres of land, clear cut it, took every tree, every piece of vegetation. There's nothing there. They stacked all their sewer pipes up there. They've been there for more than a year, and nothing's been done. What I understand about LGI, and I don't know if the city knew this when they approved it, but they don't have the best financial track record. And one of the things happened is they've got in arrears of paying Sunrock, and they've stymied on going ahead with the project. And every day that project lays bare, the erosion keeps coming. And what a lot of people don't know, and I don't know if it was ever investigated, when I was a kid, part of the end of the project that goes to the Hall River, where they have the retention ponds, was the Alamance County landfill then. It was run by a man named Cleo Anderson, and the whole county put all their garbage there. I don't think that was ever researched. So all that water that's been blowing out of that project, and I went and stood on the bridge, and my wife told me I was an idiot for standing on the bridge in a storm, but I watched the mud go halfway out into the river and come down. So according to Jordan Lake rules, it shouldn't be any process of mud being entered that river or stream. All the water is coming down all the driveways of the 7 residences there. It's going down the creeks and streams, and that also is going into the Hall River. So when LGI says they're not doing anything about it, that shouldn't be, because I read the statute in North Carolina. You can accept some water, but you cannot accept water that's causing damage to homes and properties. It's keeping people from EMS services, which I was a part of. It's keeping them from the fire department, which I was a part of. I mean, I don't live on the road, but 7 times I've took my grading equipment over there and fixed the road at no charge. And my brother don't have the money on SSI to keep putting $500 and $600 loads of rock on it. It's going into thousands of dollars of rock. And then Charles and all the other neighbors, they spend money on it too. So something needs to be investigated. I'm sure that all that ancient landfill is in Haw River now because I've seen it go through there. The water is affecting my brother's well. It's affecting his septic tank. If the pillars wash out from his mobile home, it's going to fall over. That wasn't like that. I got video where this started last September. So if you blame it just on the rains now, that's not so. Because I have a video where I went over there in September of last year and it was already happening. So by nothing being done on the project, it just keeps exacerbating worse the problems that they're having. So I would just like for the city council to look at that with a real open heart, because the 7 families shouldn't have to endure this, okay? You know, and if they're not going to finish the project, then that's a problem too. So I think when you write out a permit, I actually went up to the site. They don't, and you know, when I was in the fire service, I learned that when we drove on a site that they should have a permit, and they have no permit posted. So there's a lot of things not being done well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And next and last under public comments is Alexander Bahena Rivera. Good evening. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Alexander. I'm one of the neighbors here. I'm at 2218 NC62. I'm the one that took some videos that were sent to you. I live under John, and I mean, I got affected, but nothing like my neighbors. You know, I mean, it's really it's worrying to see all that water running from under his house. And if you look in the videos, I mean, it's not just a little bit. It's a river going down that road, and it really is just important to take a look at what's going under his trailer there. So I don't know if you guys want to look at the video and really show it so we can see. Yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say. Is I want to show support to my neighbors and make sure that everything gets fixed. You know.
Yep.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, that concludes our public comment period. I'm sure council probably has some questions for staff, but one question I have concerning this, and when was this project originally started? Do we know, Jamie? Bob?
I have a little history, yeah. I'm not exactly sure when the plans were submitted. Actually, this project dates back to 2006, 7, 8. The first initial plans that were approved, and then it stopped when the economy tanked, and then it was somebody else, I think, bought the project and submitted plans in probably 2023-ish time frame. In 2024, the erosion permit, the plans were approved, TRC approved it, and the erosion and sedimentation control permit was issued by the engineering department. And the initial inspection was conducted in October of 24. At that time, it was in compliance. They've had several inspections that were in compliance until May of this year, and that's about the time that the contractor pulled off site because of the apparent lack of payment from the developer. So since that time, our staff has been trying to get the developer to do seeding, whatnot. This storm came along, and just the amount of rainfall exasperated that whole situation and created the unfortunate situation where we have with the road and driveway being washed out, the water under the trailer. Staff has issued a notice of violation to LGI, and we'll be following up with them to try to get them back on site and get corrections made. Staff is also performing a joint inspection the last week of July with NCDEQ inspectors and representatives from the Army Corps of Engineers, because the sediment that has gone on off-site and into the river is in violation of buffer rules. There's sediment in wetlands that will need to be cleaned up, so there's quite a compounding effect for the developer by not taking care of this in the first place.
If he refuses to do anything, what's the recourse?
That I do not know.
So to further expand on that question, refusing to do something and not having the finances to do something are two different things. If they're not financially capable, do we have recourse?
If you're asking along the lines of some of the other situations we've had recently, whether or not any part of the project, the infrastructure in the project is bonded, I am not aware of.
No, at this point, there is no bond posted in
favor of the city.
In favor of the city.
Okay.
So obviously we've got multiple residents, 4 that are here speaking, and this is an untenable situation based on what you guys have described to me. And I know our direct interaction is limited. It becomes a civil matter, I guess, at that point.
Obviously, they have a cause of action against you.
However, there's a humanitarian effect that I think takes precedent over civil matters. So could we, if this person is financially not capable, could we contract it and put a lien on the property? Do we have alternatives?
Let us look into that if you would. This is the first. I heard about this morning at about 8:30.
Yeah.
And so let us have an opportunity to review that and see if we have a cause of immediate action at all, or whether it's just private.
And also, I think with DEQ and potentially Army Corps involved, then there's other means of leverage or possible resolution also. But we have not been involved in a project today that's come to that extent either. But I'm sure at some level, the state has dealt with something.
Is there not a retention pond on the site?
Yes, there are several temporary erosion control ponds, which will be converted to the final stormwater ponds. And that's part of the problem is they put in some storm drainage, but the way things are graded right now, it can't get to the sediment ponds, and the sediment ponds are full. So even if runoff got to it, they're full of sediment, and so that all just causes the water to run off in directions where it's not supposed to.
Well, you're talking roughly 20, 21 months since, well, you said October. It last was inspected in October.
Well, no, it was last inspected this week, but the first inspection was October.
Okay. So I'm sure there's been some degradation of the infrastructure that they've put in, and certainly because of the rains. I think it's safe to say if we can check into that. I mean, does council agree that this is serious enough that we need to?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing it to our attention. We will get our city attorney and our leadership team on this to see what we can do. We'll work with the state of North Carolina to leverage all the resources we can to find a resolution to this.
Thanks, Bob.
I hate you got to deal with that. I know we all do. I'm speaking on behalf of all of council, but thank you for being here, and we'll get on this and see what we can do.
Thank you.
Yep. That concludes our public comments. Any other comments on that item? No. Okay. That concludes our public comments. At this time, we'll move into city council comments. I do want to remind everyone of some upcoming events. July 25th is our Fourth Fridays concert in downtown Burlington. That's 5:30 to 9 p.m. August 5th is National Night Out. I'm sure it'll be 100 degrees as normal. August 7th, Paramount groundbreaking at the Paramount Theater at 10 a.m. August 8th, we have concerts in the park at City Park from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then, as a reminder, our next City Council work session is August 18th, and City Council meeting is August 19th. There will be no meeting due to National Night Out the 1st of August. I do want to recognize city staff and their efforts, and just really on behalf of council and other council members are certainly encouraged to chime in, but city staff's response to Tropical Storm Chantal was impeccable. I think that I want to read a few things just to give everybody sort of a visual of what we've dealt with. But city staff did an outstanding job responding to the tropical storm, which had been predicted to produce 1 to 3 inches of rain in our area. That storm's path shifted with really no notice and dumped between 8 and 10 inches of rain in just a few hours on Sunday, July 7th. I think we experienced in about a 10-day period, I think it was 25, 26, 28 inches of rain, something like that. Regardless, the telecommunications center, we processed 131 weather-related calls for Burlington and Graham. Burlington Police and Fire responded to 78 of those weather-related calls that evening. In addition to their emergency response, police, fire, and telecommunications staffed the Emergency Operations Center. Guilford County's Rescue 50 provided mutual aid for water rescues. Our streets department deployed barricades to block flooded streets. We brought a chainsaw crew in for cut and shove operations. Public Works leadership staffed the Emergency Operations Center. At Alamance County's request, Recreation and Park staff opened the Fairchild Community Center as an emergency shelter, and Burlington PD provided shelter security. Burlington Animal Services responded to calls to provide shelter for flood-displaced pets. Our water and wastewater treatment operators, both those on shift and those called in, responded to protect our plants and keep treating water. And after the storm, Burlington was able to provide clean drinking water to the city of Graham while their water plant was down. Community engagement staff worked with the Emergency Operations Center, communicating critical information to the media and to our residents, and to spread the word about subsequent closures and schedule modifications. And as we shifted to recovery, staff in Recreation and Parks, Public Works, and Water Resources have been assessing damage and working to make repairs to parks, trails, roadways, and plants that sustained damage. The Inspections Department and engineering staff have been supporting damaged assessments, and finance staff will be helping submit requests for financial reimbursement through insurance and through FEMA. Response and recovery from the tropical storm and other heavy rain events that occurred those 2 weeks has been guided by Emergency Management Director Kevin Turner, who has been a conduit for communications and cooperation across the city. And I think what's most important is those of us that have lived here all of our lives, we've never seen anything like this in our lives. And to not have really a ton of experience in handling this, I think what was put together by Kevin and the emergency management team, and then all the departments that really engaged in this, was truly phenomenal, and something that we're all very proud of, and this city council is very proud. And we'd like to give city staff a round of applause, please. All under the watchful eye of City Manager Craig Honeycutt.
He wants to thank somebody. I can see it.
Yeah, I do. I'll leave my thank yous for later.
Okay.
Perfect. Any other council comments this evening? If there's none other, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned.
Just let me know.